Before the medals, before the World Championships, and before her name became known on the global sprinting stage, Melissa Jefferson's story began far from the spotlight. Melissa Jefferson was born on February 21, 2001, in Georgetown, Texas, a small but competitive sports environment where athletic talent was often discovered early. Growing up in a close-knit family, she was surrounded by strong support, discipline, and encouragement, values that would later shape her approach to elite competition. From a young age, Melissa showed signs of exceptional athletic ability. Speed came naturally to her, but it wasn't limited to the track. As a child, she was active in multiple sports, constantly running, competing, and challenging herself. Teachers and coaches noticed quickly, she wasn't just fast, she was fearless. Her family played a crucial role in her development. They encouraged her to explore sports not for fame, but for growth and confidence. Track and field wasn't immediately the goal, it was simply where her raw talent became impossible to ignore. By the time Melissa reached middle school, her sprinting ability stood out. She dominated short races in school competitions, often winning by clear margins. What separated her from others wasn't only speed, but how easily she handled pressure, even at a young age. High school marked the turning point. At Georgetown High School, Melissa Jefferson began structured track training for the first time. That's where her natural explosiveness met proper coaching. Her starts were powerful. Her acceleration was effortless. And her competitive mindset grew stronger with every race. Coaches quickly realized they weren't just training a fast runner, they were developing a future elite sprinter. By the end of her high school years, Melissa had become one of the most promising sprint talents in Texas, earning attention from top collegiate programs across the country. The sport that started as a simple outlet for energy was now becoming a serious path. Melissa Jefferson's amateur career truly took shape during her high school years, where talent alone was no longer enough. Competition was real, pressure was rising, and expectations grew with every race. At Georgetown High School, Melissa quickly became the centerpiece of the track program. Competing in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and relays, she dominated local and state-level meets. Her explosive starts and smooth top-end speed made her nearly unbeatable in short sprints. But success didn't come without challenges. As she moved deeper into high school competition, Melissa faced older, more experienced athletes, many already committed to top universities. Races were tighter. Margins were smaller. And for the first time, she experienced what it meant to lose, and learn from it. Those moments shaped her mentality. Instead of being discouraged by defeats, Melissa used them as motivation. Coaches recall her staying late after practice, refining her starts, improving her mechanics, and studying race footage. She wasn't chasing trophies, she was chasing progress. Her breakthrough came at Texas state-level competitions, where she consistently placed among the top sprinters in one of the most competitive high school track systems in the United States. Her performances confirmed that her speed wasn't accidental, it was elite. By her senior year, Melissa Jefferson was no longer just a talented high school runner. She was a nationally recognized recruit. College coaches began watching closely. Offers arrived. And with them came one of the biggest decisions of her young life. Like many great athletes, Melissa Jefferson didn't discover sprinting, sprinting discovered her. In her early school years, Melissa's speed was obvious even outside official competitions. She was the fastest in playground races, the first to reach the finish in PE classes, and the athlete no one wanted to race against. But raw talent alone doesn't turn into a career, it takes someone to recognize it. That person was one of her school physical education teachers and early track coaches, who noticed something unusual. Melissa didn't just run fast, she accelerated effortlessly and maintained speed with natural control. Her stride was efficient, powerful, and instinctive, something that can't be taught easily. Seeing this potential, the coach encouraged her family to enroll Melissa in organized track training instead of treating sprinting as just a school activity. This moment became a turning point. At first, Melissa approached track casually. She enjoyed running, but she wasn't obsessed with winning. That changed quickly once she entered structured competitions. As soon as she lined up against trained sprinters and still beat them, the realization hit, this could be something bigger. Her early coaches focused on fundamentals rather than pressure. They worked on starting mechanics, rhythm, and confidence, allowing her natural speed to develop without burnout. This careful approach helped Melissa fall in love with the sport rather than feel overwhelmed by it. Her family's support was crucial. They trusted the coaches, attended meets, and helped her balance school and training. That stability allowed Melissa to grow steadily, both as an athlete and as a person. By the time she reached high school, her name was already familiar in local track circles. Coaches knew. This wasn't just another fast kid, this was a future elite sprinter. And once she entered high-level amateur competition, there was no turning back. Melissa Jefferson's first attempts to break into professional track and field were anything but easy. By the end of high school, she had proven herself as one of the fastest young sprinters in Texas, but talent alone didn't guarantee a place among the elite. The jump from amateur success to professional-level potential exposed new challenges. College recruiting became the first real test. Top programs were watching her closely, but expectations were high. Coaches weren't just looking for speed, they wanted consistency, discipline, and mental toughness. Melissa had to prove that she could perform under pressure, race after race. She committed to Louisiana State University, LSU, one of the most demanding sprint programs in the United States. This decision marked her first true step toward professional sport, even though the path ahead was far from guaranteed. Her early collegiate years were humbling. For the first time, Melissa was surrounded by athletes who were just as fast, or faster. Training intensity increased dramatically. Races became unforgiving. Small mistakes meant losing podium positions. Injuries, fatigue, and self-doubt began to appear. There were moments when results didn't reflect her potential. Early collegiate races were inconsistent, and Melissa often found herself finishing outside medal positions. These setbacks forced her to confront an uncomfortable truth: raw speed needed refinement. Instead of stepping back, she leaned in. Melissa worked closely with LSU's coaching staff to rebuild her sprinting mechanics, improve her reaction time, and develop race strategy. Strength training, nutrition, recovery, everything became intentional. She wasn't chasing fame anymore, she was chasing professional-level habits. Slowly, progress followed. Her times began to drop. Confidence returned. And with every improvement, Melissa moved closer to the line separating collegiate athlete from future professional sprinter. But the real breakthrough, the moment when she proved she belonged on the world stage, was still ahead. Jefferson's first real successes on the track came when preparation finally met opportunity. After months of rebuilding her technique and adjusting to elite collegiate competition, her performances began to reflect the talent coaches had seen years earlier. The breakthrough wasn't instant, it came race by race. In her early collegiate seasons at LSU, Melissa started posting consistent sub-11.3 second times in the 100 meters, a critical psychological barrier for sprinters. These results immediately put her on the radar within the SEC Conference, one of the most competitive sprint regions in the United States. Her first standout performances came at conference meets, where she advanced confidently through heats and began finishing among the top sprinters, not just qualifying, but competing to win. Soon after, her times dropped further. 100 meters, low 11.1s, then into the 11.0 range. Strong relay legs in the 4x100 meters, where her explosive starts became a weapon. Improved finishes under pressure, showing growing race maturity. These weren't just fast times, they were statement races. At national-level collegiate meets, Melissa proved she could perform when it mattered most. She advanced to finals, held her form against Olympic-level competitors, and showed a crucial trait of elite sprinters: she peaked at the right moments. One of the defining signs of her rise was consistency. She wasn't flashing one fast race and disappearing, she was showing up every weekend, holding form through rounds, and finishing strong in finals. Coaches and analysts began to take notice. Her acceleration phase improved dramatically. Her top-end speed rivaled established NCAA stars. Her relay performances showed trust from the coaching staff. By this stage, Melissa Jefferson was no longer viewed as a developing athlete, she was becoming a competitive force. As Melissa Jefferson's performances improved, so did the level of competition around her. Success in sprinting doesn't happen in isolation, it is forged through rivalries, and Melissa quickly found herself racing against some of the fastest women in collegiate and professional track and field. In the NCAA and SEC circuits, every final felt like a battle. Melissa frequently lined up against Olympic hopefuls, future world medalists, and established sprint stars. Races were often decided by hundredths of a second, leaving no room for hesitation. These matchups forced her to sharpen every aspect of her racing, from reaction time out of the blocks to holding form in the final meters. One of the defining aspects of her rivalry-driven growth was her mindset. Rather than avoiding big names, Melissa embraced racing them. Competing against elite sprinters pushed her to elevate her standards and erase fear from the start line. At major collegiate meets, she faced defending NCAA champions, sprinters with international junior medals, teammates in training who were also rivals on race day. These constant head-to-head races taught her how to stay composed under pressure. Losing by a fraction of a second became fuel, not frustration. As she transitioned toward the professional level, rivalries intensified. In national championships and Diamond League level meets, Melissa began lining up against global sprint icons, athletes with Olympic medals, world titles, and years of experience. Every race became a lesson in positioning, timing, and belief. What set Melissa apart was her ability to rise in big moments. When the field was stacked, her starts became sharper. When the crowd was loud, her focus narrowed. She learned to race the clock, not the names. These rivalries didn't just shape her results, they shaped her identity as an athlete. She became known as a sprinter who thrived in fast fields, performed best in finals, was dangerous in relays and individual races alike. By constantly testing herself against the best, Melissa Jefferson transformed competition into momentum. But rivalries alone don't define a career. The real turning point came when those battles began translating